It is Thursday, March 28th, and the Splash Zone is back in your life. I'm Matt Modi, and I'm here to give you my three favorite player props, NBA player props, for tonight's NBA betting slate. We only have two games on tap for tonight, but I was able to find three plays that I did really like. We're going to get into that, but before we do, we got to do a recap from yesterday, which ended up being a mostly fine day. On mainline plays, I gave out six. We got exactly half of those to cash, 3 and 3. On mainline plays, down about 0.32 or so units because of the odds. And then on ladder plays, I gave out two of those, and I got exactly half of those to cash as well. So we hit exactly half our bets yesterday on ladder plays, specifically thanks to the juicy odds. We were up 0.35 units. So we mostly broke even yesterday. It felt a little bit grosser than it actually was because the plays that lost weren't even close. Halliburton assists, Anthony Edwards points, and Devin Booker points didn't even come close. But if we were able to break even, that's not a horrible day overall. So we'll take that slightly in the green. On the entire season, this NBA season has been incredible for us. Mainline plays, we are up 85.38 units. I would love to end the NBA season up over 100 units. We'll see if we can get there. And then ladder plays, which I specifically started tracking on February 24th. We're on a nice little hot streak with ladder plays, specifically up 5.13 units. Again, since February 24th. So if you're new to my channel, I would appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button so you can cash some future bangers with us. And then as far as this video goes, like, comment, all that good stuff helps me out a ton. But enough of that. Let's get into today's slate. Let's see if we can splash around and get wet. The first play that we're going to go ahead and talk about here is in the Celtics versus Hawks game. And I'm taking Jaylen Brown over 5.5 first quarter points. So to be clear, 5.5 first quarter points. This is at minus 115 odds at Bet365. So to be honest with you, this is the first time that I've ever given out this market, first quarter market, as an official play. But I really, really like it for this specific matchup and for this specific player as well. To be honest, I never really thought to look into first quarter markets. I probably should have sooner than today, but hey, at least we can hopefully right those wrongs. And again, this play for Jaylen Brown in this matchup against the Hawks, I think is really good. For starters, and again, I should have thought of this long before today, but Jaylen Brown is a notoriously fast starter. He's been that way for years now. I mean, I remember when they were in the finals against the Warriors, I felt like every single first quarter he was on fire and then he would die off. And I have the numbers to back that up as well. It's not just I feel like he starts hot. He actually does. He's gone over 5.5 points in 7 of his last 10 games. In all 3 of those games he missed, he had exactly 5 points. So he's had 5 or more points and we're getting the over 5.5. So if he ends with 5, that would hurt. But the floor is there and the ceiling is there as well. He had 13 points last game against the Hawks in the first quarter. He had 19 in the first quarter against the Warriors. And on the entire season, he's gone over 5.5 first quarter points in 36 of 64 matchups, 64 games. And if you even date it back to last season, 79 of 151. So he hits it well over a 50% rate. And again, 7 of his last 10, with all 3 misses, him having exactly 5 points. Now, the one downside to this is the Celtics are not, and Joe Mazzulla, not one of those teams / coaches that are really strict in their rotations. So we can't count 100% on how many minutes that he's going to play in the first quarter. Some players, they're going to play the whole first quarter. That's not the case with Jaylen Brown. But with that said, it's almost a guarantee that he plays at least 9 minutes in the first quarter, right? If you look at the past 10 games, only once has he played below 9 minutes. He's played all 12 minutes in the first quarter twice, and majority is between the 9, 10, sometimes the whole first quarter. So we can at least count on 9 minutes, and if we get that, I'm very confident that this play is going to hit for us. Last game against the Hawks, these two teams just played 2 days ago. He played 10 minutes in the first quarter, and he scored 13 points. And the reason why I'm on this play, it's a really good matchup. Even though we just cashed it against the Hawks 2 days ago, I still like riding with it once again today because the matchup is really good for a player that is a fast starter. Jaylen Brown against the Hawks defense is allowing the 6th most points per game to his shooting profile and the 9th most points per game to his scoring profile. So yes, it's not like number 1 in both categories, but top 6 and top 9 is still pretty good. And Jaylen Brown has cashed this in all 3 games against the Hawks this season. He scored at least 6 points in the first quarter in all 3 games against the Hawks And because this game could be a blowout, because Jaylen Brown is a fast starter but doesn't necessarily always finish strong, I'm more confident with the first quarter points for Jaylen Brown. So that's what we're going with our first pick. Next up, second pick of the slate in the Bucks versus Pelicans game, we're taking CJ McCollum over 21.5 points, -115 odds at Flip. And if you don't use Flip, you can also get it at -120 at BetMGM. I'm also going to have some additional ladder plays here as well. So that's what the graphic is showing you. 1 unit on him over 21.5 points. And then I'm putting a half unit on him to make over 3.5 made 3-pointers. That's at +106 odds at BetRivers. And I'm also putting another half unit on him to make 5 or more 3-pointers. That's at +240 odds at FanDuel. So both the 3-point props are half unit plays. If he hits 4 but not 5, we'll at least break even there. And hopefully he would have hit the points for us so we can cash the over points. But both his points and his 3-pointers are really, really good matchups against the Bucks. So that's why I wanted to play both. I wanted to have some skin in the game for both. The reason why I love his, I love him in general, but I love his points. It's a matchup play against the Bucks, and it's a system play because no Brandon Ingram, he's still out for the Pelicans. This season, CJ McCollum has scored 22 or more points in 6 of 8 games that Brandon Ingram has missed, and in 8 of 10 games if we date back to last year. This year, if you look at the 2 games that he did not score 22 or more points, in one of them he had 19 points against the Warriors. That game was played on October 30th, the very, very beginning of the season. And the other game he missed was a game against the Heat in which he played fewer than 15 minutes. That game's an outlier. You can't really take much into that. He's going to play more than 15 minutes tonight. And if you take out that Heat game, he averages 26.4 points per game in the 7 games that Brandon Ingram has missed. And if you look just at his on-off split, so this doesn't only include games that Brandon Ingram missed, but just when CJ McCollum is on the floor and Brandon Ingram is not, CJ averages about 5 more points per 36 minutes when he's on the floor and Brandon Ingram is not. And also, if you take out that same Heat game, he averages about 36 minutes of playing time in the games that Brandon Ingram has missed as well. And then in terms of the matchup, it's about as juicy as it gets for CJ McCollum against the Bucks and their drop coverage. So without Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum leads the Pelicans in points per game via the pick and roll as the main ball handler. He leads the team. And the Bucks defense on the entire season is allowing the second most points per game, specifically to main pick and roll ball handlers. The reason why that they allow so many points to guards who run a lot of pick and rolls is because of their drop coverage. Doc Rivers, their head coach, and even before Doc with their old coach Adrian Griffin, they play drop coverage, which leads to a ton of pretty easy pull-up opportunities for guards that can pull up and that run pick and rolls. Over the past 10 games, the Bucks are allowing both the second most made and attempted pull-up shots in the NBA. But the reason why we're on CJ specifically for his 3-pointers is not only does he take the most pull-up shots for the Pelicans, but he takes the most pull-up 3-pointers as well. And the Bucks over the past 10 games are allowing the most made and attempted pull-up 3-pointers in the entire NBA. That's another area, like I said, in which CJ McCollum leads the Pelicans. So I like both his points and his 3-pointers. Mainline play on his points, 2 ladder plays on his 3-pointers. Let's hope all of them cash and we have a great day. That's our second play. Next up, we're sticking in the Bucks versus Pelicans game, and I'm taking Brook Lopez over 1.5 made 3-pointers, -115 odds, both at ESPN Bet and BetMGM. And this is another situation where I'm going to have a ladder play. I'm going to take him to make 3+ made 3-pointers, putting +240 odds on that. And that's at FanDuel, and I'm putting a half unit on that as well. So I do want to be clear here. I am going to be on this play for Brook Lopez, regardless of whether Giannis and or Chris Middleton sit out. If both play, I'm on this. If one sits and the other doesn't, I'm on this. If both sit, I'm still on this. This is purely a play because of the matchup against the Pelicans, and it's a really, really good matchup against the Pelicans. So 2 days ago, we had an epic day on our NBA player props. Part of that is we targeted Thunder 3-point props, and we target them against the Pelicans. And it's kind of the same exact logic for this play tonight as well. The Pelicans have a very good defense, but part of their defense is leaving shooters wide open if they don't respect your shot. So they'll trust their length, they'll trust just their analysis. If they don't think you're a plus shooter, they're going to leave you wide open. And that includes centers as well. It's anybody that they don't respect as a shooter. And part of the reason why centers specifically are able to get so many 3-point shots up against the Pelicans is because they have a pretty big lineup with Valanciunas at center. They don't want Valanciunas guarding the perimeter. They want to stick him on the on the interior because he can't really move his feet that well, so he's better in the interior. And Brook Lopez, his role on offense, he can play the post pretty well. He's mostly just a floor stretcher, so he'll hang out on the perimeter and catch and shoot if he's left open. And that's what I think is going to happen in this game. On the entire season, the Pelicans are allowing the highest frequency of three-point shots against them be considered wide open. 24% of three-point shots against the Pelicans, the NBA defines as wide open, which means 6 or more feet of space between him and the closest defender. And over the past 10 games, that number is just going up. So 24% on the season. Last 10 games, that number jumps up to 25.1%. That's the second most over the past 10 games. The only team above them is the Bulls, and they're at 25.2%. And then the third place team is all the way down at 24.1%. So there's a pretty big gap between the Pelicans and the Bulls and the rest of the NBA. And then if you look at Brook Lopez, he takes the most wide open three-pointers on the Bucks, both on the entire season. And if you look over the past 10 games, he is making the most wide open three-point attempts on the Bucks, shooting 46.4% on wide open three-point attempts. In general, Brook Lopez has just been shooting well. He's made 2 or more three-pointers in 6 of his last 10 games and in 4 of his last 5. But he did miss it last game against the Lakers, so I do like this as a little bit of a fade of recent results. And these two teams just played at the end of January. Brook Lopez hit 6 three-pointers, and more importantly, he had 9 attempts. I'm not necessarily sure he's going to blow up that much. If he could just get to 3 made three-pointers, that would be good for this one. And that's all we got. 3 bangers for you guys to lock in, plus a couple ladder plays. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And the last thing that I'll say here, I mention it at the end of every video, is that I do have a Dub Club. If you're unfamiliar with what Dub Club is, it's basically a system you can sign up for where you get everything, all my plays sent directly to your phone. So sent to your email, text, Telegram, however you want it set up. All the plays that I give out on YouTube and on Twitter for free, you can get on Dub Club. It's only $5 a month, and my logic is, again, it's really easy because you just get everything sent to you, but not everybody wants to watch the YouTube videos, or not everybody has time to watch the YouTube videos, or by the time they do watch them, the odds change. That's why I came out with the Dub Club as a way to just get everything sent to you. It gets sent early before odds change. You don't have to watch the YouTube videos if you don't want to, and I'm only charging $5 a month because you can get everything for free on YouTube or on Twitter. So that's all we got. Again, if you want to pay the $5 to get everything sent directly to your phone, or you'd rather just get it for the best price of free, totally fine with me. Appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.